Walmsley for the introduction.
Good morning. I have a very distinct pleasure this morning of introducing an individual who I look at and say he is one of the primary reasons that Oaklawn Park is a successful racetrack and a successful racing industry. Lou Cella, the son of Charles Cella, has succeeded his father on his father's death as the president of Oaklawn Park. I worked with his father on behalf of horsemen for a number of years, and since 2017, when Lewis took over as president and the individual who ran this operation, I found a number of things that were extremely pleasant to me, a number of things that were excellent about him. Lewis has a law degree from the University of Arkansas, but he is very wise and has never practiced law. Rather, he has run the family operations and run them well. I might say I was surprised and pleased the first year. Generally, I sit down with the general manager at the start of a race meeting. The first year that Lewis was president, the general manager said, "Lewis would like to come join this conversation. Do you have a problem?" I said, "No, absolutely, I do not have a problem." And over the next 30 minutes, they asked me many questions, some of which I could answer and some were technical. And I said, I cannot answer those questions, but I know the people who can. There's some of the trainers like Steve Hoppy and Ron Moquette. And over the course of that race meet, Lewis Cella met, and his top management people met with individual trainers for as long as a couple of hours at a time, talking about the things that not necessarily the people on the front side do not become acquainted with. But Mr. Cella wanted to know answers and wanted to know that information. I also found he was not afraid of change. Change has come since 2017. There have been more changes at Oaklawn Park than at any time I have served the Arkansas HBPA. An amazing thing happened during the height of the pandemic. We raced every single day without one individual fan in those stands. We raced in order that our owners and our trainers could continue making a living. And Oaklawn took a considerable sacrifice over it. We were one of the very few jurisdictions in the United States doing live racing in the height of the COVID pandemic. So again, the approach is we had probably talked for 15 years about extending our race meet past the Arkansas Derby. Lewis said, "That's a great idea," and immediately implemented it. This hotel he built for $100 million or so, and he did it in the height of the pandemic, at a time when most of us were pulling back and hunkering down. So I found an individual who, I didn't think I would meet an individual in racetrack management that loved the races any more than Charles Cella did. However much I might have disagreed with him, the one thing I knew, he loved racing. But I have found someone who loves racing just as much. He carries talents. He works with the community. He's the director of the Winthrop Rockefeller Cancer Institute for the state of Arkansas. Many other civic duties that he performs. As a foundation, Oaklawn Foundation, that in the last 5 years has dispensed about $10 million in benevolence for those in need in the state of Arkansas. So I'd like to introduce to you someone that I have the utmost respect for, someone that I'd like to see emulate jurisdiction across the country. And the one thing I can say is he's been there for going on 6 years. And guess what? There's not been one dispute between the horsemen and racetrack management during that period of time. So at this time, I'd like to proudly thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Bill, for those kind words. It's easy when you have the relationship we have, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. President Daniels, of course, Bill Walmsley, President of the Arkansas HBPA, board members and guests, welcome to Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort. Though many of you have been here before, I think when you walk around, you'll see a few changes, all for the good. And Dr. Daniels, I think you will find it particularly interesting. If you walk through the game room, you'll see a rather large neon sign that says Instant Racing. Well, of course, today that's referred to as historical horse racing, which is saving racing throughout Virginia, Kentucky, and many other jurisdictions. It started right here at Oaklawn. We are the only racing, gaming, meeting, and entertainment resort in the country. Think about that. There is not another racing jurisdiction that offers the amenities, the complete amenities that we offer. There is not a close second. Though the Astral Spa has been closed this week for routine maintenance, it is now open, and it is absolutely worthy of a visit, or at least a walkthrough. And I hope you've been able to dine in some of our many restaurants or enjoy training from the privacy of your room, which is truly a unique experience. I believe we have created here at Oaklawn the model venue for the future of horse racing. This could not have happened without our firm relationship with the Arkansas HBPA, led by Bill Walmsley. Active for over 40 years in our industry, Bill Walmsley is a true horseman. And people often ask, I've been asked just this week, how Oaklawn and our HBPA are consistent leaders in our industry. Well, it starts with Bill Walmsley. It also starts with checking our agendas at the door. So how do we do it? Well, we get along. We actually like each other, which is a rarity in the racing world that we live in today. And we have common and shared goals, creating the very best racing venue, the very highest purses for our owners, and the very safest racetrack for our horses. We have a track committee like many others, but it's made up of several trainers and jockeys which meet on a regular basis with management to discuss the various track conditions. And we test our track surface every 3 weeks or even more frequently to make sure the mix is appropriate. And that means we have to have an inventory, which we do, of over 1,500 yards of prepared material that we can put on the track immediately. Additionally, what we're very, very proud of, every single year, we pick up the entire track cushion. This permits us to inspect the base, and it also permits us to remix the cushion to our standards to make it the safest track possible. I realize most tracks do not do this. So think of it this way as to why not. We pick up over 6,800 yards of material. We remix it, and we place 6,800 yards of material back down on the track. This equates to over 136 dump trucks of material every single year. And it is very expensive, and it is time-consuming. But we view it as a best practice for our industry, which our industry should follow. Our relationship goes well beyond just analyzing the track surface. It transcends the sport. A few years ago, when there was an outcry about Lasix and clenbuterol and shockwave therapy, select members of the Arkansas HBPA met confidentially with management to find solutions. Think about that. In your respective jurisdictions, I suspect none have met confidentially with management to discuss racing's ills to try to find solutions. This resulted, the results from these discussions, we banned clenbuterol, we banned shockwave equipment, and we give patrons notice if our horses require a higher dose of Lasix. Some tracks have followed this, but it all started here at Oaklawn a number of years ago. This proves we can work together. In addition, we have agreed to randomly test hair follicles from horses throughout the meet so that we all can learn what our lifeblood, the horse, has grown up with. No names are associated with this, no penalties are issued with this, only the results, so that we all can learn as an industry rather than just conjure up rhetoric with supposition. Visiting Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort, you will see firsthand how racing can not only survive, but thrive and grow and expand and excel. These are exciting times in Oaklawn. And if you're racing in Arkansas, it's exciting times because you're running for the highest purses in the country of over $700,000 every day. President Daniels, thank you for choosing Oaklawn to host today's HBPA, or this week's HBPA conference. Bill Wansley, thank you for what you and your board have done for Arkansas racing, and for all of you, I hope you enjoyed your stay. Thank you very much.
Well, we truly appreciate Mr. Cella coming in and speaking to us. Once again, if we give him another round of applause, appreciate it. Again, not to say it too often, but the staff that they've put together here, all the hospitality has been amazing. So kudos to him and his team, and we can't thank them enough for allowing us to be here at this wonderful, beautiful facility for our event.